All right, I want to start by saying Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahawashi, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahawashi, Kohala Yahayim, Yahweh by Shem Yarashai, Kohala Yahayim, Yahweh by Shem Yarashai, by Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that told me this doctrine in truth and sincerity. Shalom to elect. The Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, which means He is or He exists, by Hashem in the name. The world even calls Jesus Christ. We know His name to be Yahawashi, which means the deliverer, the savior for the Hebrew Israelites from the pedigree of your father. By Hashem in the name of the Ruach HaKadosh, which means the Holy Spirit, the living waters that are able to flow through the hopeful elect, to be able to have knowledge, wisdom, understanding of who they are, which are the Hebrew Israelites, and who our adversary is, which is Esau Edom. Esau Edom is the wicked that is spoken about in the scriptures, the biblical Edomites. They are the banksters of this world, the elite. They are the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Kennedys, the Soros, the Astors, the Clintons. These are the wicked that it speaks about in the scriptures. And it says in the latter days that they will have the fatness of the earth that was given to them by Isaac, which was Yahawashi, if you could receive it. And they have to live by their sword. That's why you see in over 80 countries, you see 750 military bases with them implementing their sword in all these different countries, all four corners of the earth, pushing forth their democracy, dividing the families, putting man on man, woman on woman, transformers, everything that is profane and outside the temple. That's what Esau Edom was meant to do. He was that vessel created to dishonor, and Lord willing, we're that vessel to honor, which are the Hebrew Israelites, starting with Yahawashi, Hamashiach, down to the tabernacle of David. Lord willing, we're of the tabernacle of David to be able to endure to the end for the name of Yahweh Shem Yarashai, right? And in these latter days, they said that there will be what? Let me just get the scriptures. Psalms 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before the old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and evil and of pestilence. Yeah, so these prophets, right, that have been given the mysteries to be able to filter what's going on in the world through the scriptures, to measure the time diligently, to give our people warning, which are the Hebrew Israelites, which are the sheep, right, and our shepherd is Yahawashi, and to give warning to the sheep about what's going on, who Esau Edom is and who they are, to give them warning to repent, to come back to the true power of Yahweh Shem Yarashai. Yahweh Shem Yarashai is in the ancient Hebrew. Again, we've been discontinued from our heritage because we went off not following the law, statute, commandments that was given to us by our forefathers, worshiping after false idols and false gods. And it's no different in this time. But in this time, Yahawashi HaMashiach, that perfect Lamb, has given us this word, this truth, this light, to be able to wake up those dry bones, to be able to give us breath and life. And through that breath and life, we're able to have that comforter through Yahawashi. And Lord willing, we're able to endure to the end for that standard to be lifted up for, those elect to be able to be lifted up in that time of trouble, time of Jacob's trouble, and the time of our temptation, where Esau Edom is going to come in like a madman sparing none, because Esau Edom has his ultimate plan, which is the New World Order, which is Novus Ordo Seclorum in the Latin. And how does he create that? By order out of chaos, which is order out of chaos in the Latin. And how they bring it forth is through this pestilence that they brought forth, a couple years ago. And their ultimate goal, this is all a prelude to their ultimate goal, which is the Karagman, which is the graven image in your forehead or in your hand. That if you take it, you will have a sore, right? You will have a sore, ulcer, right? That will, and then you will get caught in the lake of fire. Okay, that's what we're here to give our people warning, to warn them about Esau Edom's evil plan. Okay, and to warn them of what? The wars and the rumors of wars, the evil, which is bad times, and the pestilence and the famine. Because these are all bad times. And the prophets are meant as those seers to be able to foretell you, to give you the forecast of what's going to happen. Okay, and he says what? In Jeremiah 3:15, Jeremiah 3:15, I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Yeah, knowledge and understanding of what's going on in these times, to be able to give us comfort. Amos 3 and 7, surely the Lord our power Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. And what is the secret? Yahweh Shem Rashai, the name. What is the secret? Who Esau Edom is, who we are, right? Because we were that house hidden. We were that house hid on a hill, right? But now it being manifested that we are the Hebrew Israelites, because you see the brothers on the highways and the byways, the highways and hedges, waking up, the hopeful elect, those first fruits, that first church, right? Standing in great boldness, standing on our feet, as it says Ezekiel 37 and about 11, right? That's why we have to prophesy, from the unicorn, which is the internet, and also on the highways and the byways, because this word has to be preached to the four corners of the earth before Yahweh Shem Rashai is going to come forward. And the secret is in the scriptures, right? So, as we read in Jeremiah, let me just get it again. Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before the old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and evil and a pestilence. So Medo-Persia and the Medo-Persian dynasty, the Grecians, right? You have Rome, okay? All these different Rome. And this is Rome 2.0 all over again. Babylon the Great that it speaks about in the scriptures is speaking about America. And America goes back to Babylon the Great. And Babylon means confusion, right? And we're in a confused state when we have man on man, woman on woman, transformers. We have Esau Edom in control. We have the woman over us. We have constant, pestilence in the air, right, with the chemtrails. And you have GMOs in the food. You have fluoride in the water. So that this is truly the valley of shadow of death. And all around the four corners of the earth, you have the same vibration, because Esau Edom has stretched forth his hand on the left-hand side in all these different places with his sword, okay? And when it's speaking about has prophesied against many countries, all the different captivities that we're in, but this is going to be the last time before the kingdom is what translated. Why? Because of ill-gotten gains from Esau Edom, rape, rob, and murdering these places by the sea. Again, there's many different swords. You have the military sword, then you have their sword with the food. Then you have their sword with their propaganda, with their governments, which government goes back to mind control, right? And we see that there's going to be there's many disasters that are happening, tornadoes in places. And it always says right now they're saying everything's at a biblical proportion, right? Volcanoes erupting that never erupted before, snow in places that's never been, okay? So all these things are warning of tempest of the latter days. So going back to that article, because one of their swords is famine, right? Skyrocketing fertilizer prices could spark widespread global famines, unlike anything we have seen in modern history, right? It says, I'm going to try to make as much noise about the crisis as I can. So let's get this word crisis real quick. Crisis, a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. Okay, so that kind of sounds like a time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, of danger, emergency, disaster. And didn't we say that in Jeremiah 28 and 8, right, in the NLT? Okay, distress, difficulty, fix. And people are in a distress. Why? Because they are losing their livelihoods. They're losing where they live. And these food shortages are going up. They're going through the hyperinflation. I'm going to get into that, a little bit more. I just want to get that word crisis, a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger. And you see, ultimately, you see a lot of judgment too. And you see people stealing people's food and things like that. And it's only going to get worse. Because we have never faced anything like this modern times, global fertilizer prices have tripled. And we are being warned that this is going to have a catastrophic impact on the food production all over the world. Yeah, because fertilizer is used to grow everything. Okay. You had over there in North Korea, they're telling people to use their actual own human feces to be able to use as fertilizer. That's what they're saying over there in North Korea with the rocket man that they have over there, right? On Monday, an article that I wrote about went viral over the internet on Zero Hedge alone, my article has been viewed more than 250,000. Okay. Says United States is ignoring this story, but it should be on front page news all over. Going to affect every man, woman, and child on the entire planet. Some experts did warn us about this in advance. For example, a European CEO told the media following the way back in November, I want to say this loud and clear right now that we risk a very low crop in the next harvest. Okay, I'm afraid we're going to have a food crisis. Says that food crisis is coming because the cost to produce tons of I can't even read that right now. I don't know why. Let me just get it. Yeah, so ammonia is one of the most commonly I don't know why I can't say that word right now. Let me look it up real quick. Bear with me. Ammonia. There we go. Okay, I got it. Ammonia. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. Twada Yahba Shemar Rashai. Yeah, so let me go back to it. So produce a ton of ammonia has gotten nearly 10 times higher in Europe, and national gas benchmark hit as an all-time high September with the price more than tripling from June. And let's see what ammonia is. Ammonia is the most commonly produced chemicals the United States is used to industry and commerce, only exists naturally in humans and environment. Ammonia is essentially biologically processed surface of pneumonia. Ammonia was first used to refrigerate in 1850s, was applied in the United States in 1860s to artificial ice production. First patient's ammonia refrigeration. I'm just trying to get something to say what it's actually for, how to produce ammonia. So it's to be able to, for the actual foods, right? Let's see, function. Yeah, ammonia is to be able to, aluminum sulfide, okay, the fertilizers to be able to grow. All right. Yeah, I just want to get something on that. So this is very important as far as for the food, and it's going up. In Europe, national gas benchmark hit all-time high September, October alone. Yara is a major producer of ammonia, a key ingredient in synthetic fertilizer, which increases crop yields. The process of creating ammonia currently relies on hydropower on natural gas. To produce a ton of ammonia last summer was $110, said Hoyster, and now it's $1,000. So it's incredible. In order to fix that, we need to solve the global energy crisis. Unfortunately, as I've been repeatedly warning by readers, the global energy crisis is only going to get worse. Yeah, so in Africa, many farmers are not going to be able to afford fertilizer at this year. Is being projected as will produce enough to feed 100 million people. Make sure that people won't starve in Africa. Governments will need to import massive amounts of food from elsewhere. We are likely to see scenario. And so what they're doing with this, they're bringing in those impossible foods where they use the waste. They use the waste fields where they throw trash to be able to create those impossible burgers, right? But agriculture production is going to be way down on all over the global. So yeah, because this is a worldwide agenda. They're Novus Ordo Secorium, right? Food scarcity is already reaching desperate levels in many regions on Wednesday. Famine. Okay, when families had once had comfortable meals, children are now sustaining on foraged plants and cactus leaves. Okay. Says that would add food commodity costs that already are the highest in decade. Markets may be remembering. And what are they also doing? You also have the truck drivers that are going on strike up there in Canada. And so with the truck drivers, if you can't be able to push forth the product, right, which is through these truck drivers, then there's going to be another food shortage because it's going to go up because you see that these truck drivers are trying to go on strike. When Russia wheat prices jumped even though shipments weren't substantially affected, Russia and Ukraine's share of world exports has increased since nations like Egypt and Turkey rely on the Black Sea bread basket, but even without war, global food prices just keep going higher and higher. Yeah, because they have an agenda. Want to get a couple different articles. Okay, when it gets higher and higher, this is a thing called inflation, right? So it says inflation, an action of inflating something or a condition and being inflated, a general increase in prices and a fall of purchasing value. Yeah, so the value goes up. Meanwhile, they don't have a lot of the products, right? So that's inflation. And this is actually what it's going to go to is hyperinflation, a monetary, which is money inflation occurring at a very high rate. So something that say let's just say, for instance, okay, you buy a pack of steaks, it might be, enough to feed, 2 or 3 people, right? So it might be like $10 or something, right? But now it's going to be like $40, $50 instead. And you're already seeing it go up. You see certain prices at certain grocery stores, they're up. Everything's usual price, it's up like $2, $3 on certain things, right? If something's $10, it's up $2, $3. Okay, if it's $20, it's up $5, $6, right? And this hyperinflation is going to go up a significant amount. So I want to get another just to show you that this is all set up. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, see, with this hyperinflation, because what are they trying to do? They're trying to kill the fiat currency. The fiat currency, which is the paper dollar, they want to. That's why they keep giving you stimulus checks and things like that, because they're killing the economy because it's not backed by gold or silver. And ultimately, they're going in debt because they want to crash the economy. That's why they're lending people out money and certain things like that when they really don't have any money. Meanwhile, the debt's going up and killing the economy, and they want to bring in a central banking digital currency so they can have everyone linked up to their actual currency. Then they even said this through the cyber polygon, EMP is going to hit. That's what you see all these hacking things in these certain companies, hacking of the food systems and things like that, because they want to say, hey, we have a more secure way. This is their order out of chaos. And what their secure way is to have that charagma on everybody, to have you. That's why they're starting digital license, where it's able to have all your jab status, have your license, have your medical records, everything on one thing. And that's what they want to do with the charagma, which is a graven image, to have you like a slave. So you can be able, if you don't comply, it's a get down or lay down mentality. We'll just take you to one of the internment camps, C camps, and then basically if you don't comply, it's lights out. That's why you have to have the hedge of Yahweh Shemar Shai. It says economists are surrounding the alarm as national debt reaches 30 million trillion. Impact for Americans could have long-term consequences. And this is all part of an agenda. I'm not going to read too much on this article, but this is the point. Some economists contend that the national's large debt load is not unhealthy, given that the economy is growing, interest rates are low, investors are still willing to buy U.S. Treasury securities, which gives them, how are they buying this? Through these loans, okay? These securities allow the government to borrow money relatively cheaply and use it to invest in the economy. Yeah, so they're borrowing money out. Meanwhile, there's no money in there, okay? After many years of rock bottom interest rates, Federal Reserve is shifting into inflation fighting mode. The Fed is planning to launch its first series of rate hikes since 2015. Higher borrowing costs, will only make it harder to finance the mountain of debt. It doesn't mean that short-term crisis, but it does mean we are going to be poorer in the long term. That's right. And again, this is all a plan. So when you look at the debt clock, debt clock right here. Okay, you see, it's at 30 million now. And just last month, it was about 28 million. So all these things where they're sending these troops over to Ukraine and these things like that, they all cost money. And that's why they always want war, because they could be able to hide their money. And if you look at this right here, it says debt per citizen. So now And I just looked at this a month ago. It was $85,000. Now it's $90,000. That's per citizen. Okay, so you owe right now. You owe $90,000, and you probably don't even know it, right? And meanwhile, people don't even have $500 in their account. And so they just, and this is going back to their mirror clay, their high debt, okay, that Esau Edom has accumulated. So they don't have no money when they're doing all these things and saying that's good. There was another article. Let me find it real quick. Come on, this is it right here. It says, developing 6,000 urge to evacuate as North Carolina fertilizer plant fire threatens an ammonia nitrate explosion, right? A fire that erupted Monday night. All of a sudden, now you have these, these fires at these fertilizer places. Why would they want to do that? Because you see that Bill Gates is buying up all the land, all this farmland. And meanwhile, what are they doing with the farmland? They're basically throwing out the milk and killing the cattle. And then what are they doing also? They're having these farmers, they're paying them not to even grow crops. And basically buying them out. The fire is still burning at a plant 1 mile. Yeah, so all of a sudden, these random fires. The fire forced emergency responders to urge 16,000. There were 600 tons of ammonium nitrate, 5,000 tons of finished fertilizer on the site. Winston-Salem fire chief. That compares with 240 tons of ammonium nitrate at West Texas. Yeah, so this is all part of their plan by killing the fertilizer that raised up the hyperinflation or first inflation, then hyperinflation. Meanwhile, people are going to start bugging out. And when people start bugging out, what are they going to do? They're going to ask their government for help. And I just want to get one more thing, just to show that this is all planned. This was a couple years ago when this thing started, right? When this thing started, they had a lot of these places, these food corporations started to have these fires. Okay, this is Tyson Foods plant evacuated during a fire. So all of a sudden, and there was a couple more too. I'm not going to get a whole bunch of them, but if you do your research, you can be able to see it. Yeah, so this is like basically, this was last year. It says blaze started Sunday afternoon as a cooker at site. Tyson Foods plant, and Tyson's a big company, big corporation for chicken product, poultry, and things like that. So with these fires, what happens? These food shortages, okay? Tyson's plant and Robuds process poultry into a variety of chilled, frozen, raw chicken products. Yeah, so revealed plans for a new 425 million poultry complex. Yeah, so they're not going to build that, but they just say that they are. Okay, so I just want to, bring that out. There's more information on that. And it just shows all of a sudden these random fires start happening at these fertilizer places, these food plants. Meanwhile, you basically never see that. Real quick. Yeah, right here. 2 scriptures. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Yeah, we're not ignorant of Esau Edom's schemes and his plots, okay, that he's trying to do, which he's trying to crash the dollar bill. And he's trying to make everyone bow a knee, because when you don't have food, I'm going to get a couple quotes on it. When you don't have food, you're going to start acting different. When your children are hungry, your woman's hungry, you're going to start basically acting very different. Okay, you're basically going to comply to everything that these devils want you to do. Micah 2:1. Micah 2:1. Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Yeah, so these United Nations General Assemblies places, these Bohemian Groves, okay, they're practicing on their beds, and they have these think tanks where they're all professionals on how to be able to scare tactics, people, fear mongering, and the Slakia. Upon their beds when the morning is light. Yeah, so when they go to these governments, right, through their propaganda, through their democracy, which is the Democrat and the Republican, which is of the same eagle, which goes back to Rome, the plebeian and the patrician is nothing new, and you act like you're voting for something good, and they act like they're giving you a voice, when meanwhile the voice is already set up, and anything that you do vote for, they can just veto it out. Right, so it's Esau Edom is not plagued like other men. He can do what he wants. He's been given his portion. because it is in the power of their hand. Yeah, again, it's in the power of their hand, right? That goes back to Genesis 27 and 40, where it says it was given the fatness of the earth and the sword, and that was by Isaac, which is Yahushua, if you could receive it. Micah 2:2. When you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it, and when you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. You cheat a man of property, stealing his family's inheritance. Okay, and that's what they're doing. They're gonna they're taking people's land already, far as people that have these farmlands. Okay, they're taking them by lies and deceit. And what is let me get this right here. It's locking. Soylent Green. I don't know how they taste, but I guess varies from person to person. So Soylent Green, if you didn't know, is actually a movie, I think about, it's either the 80s or the 70s, where they were basically making body parts, where they had the bodies and they were making food out of them. Okay, and you had many of these elites saying that they've done these things at McDonald's and Burger King, that they put certain things in there that have cannibalism in it, that have shredded people in there. Okay, this is nothing new under the sun. And this is Bill Gates by state, the land owned. So all of a sudden Bill Gates is started to buy up all this land. And so he bought over 268,984 total acres. North Carolina, Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and a lot of these they got by deceit, by lying to these people. Wyoming, Colorado, Idaho, okay, Washington, California. And with them buying up all that land, they're able to control the market as far as the food. Right? And so this was Henry A. Kissinger. I think he's in the spirit world waiting to go in slavery, right? But this is a quote that he said. He's one of the elites. Who controls the food supply? Who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control the continents. Who controls money can control the world. And who controls the world or the money? Esau Edom. He is in control right now because Yahweh Shem Rashai has given him his portion. And this is their agenda. Novus Ordo Seclorum, the New World Order agenda, the 2030 agenda. A one world government, a one world cashless currency. How do you get the cashless currency? By killing the dollar bill, right? Depopulation control, right? They have a thing called the Georgia Guidestones, which is there's 707 billion people on the earth. 707 billion people on the earth, right? And they want to bring it down to 500 million. How do you do that? By GMO foods, okay, fluoride in the water, okay, chemtrails in the air, false philosophies, guns, okay, all these different things, division. Let's see, government. Yeah, these government-owned businesses, they're starting to take out what the middlemen. Yeah, they're starting to take out the middlemen. That's when they do these lockdowns. What do? They kill the middle class, and basically now you have poor and rich, creating these civil wars, which is gonna create a lot of genocide. The end of irrigation, yeah. So the end of anybody growing their own things. The end of private farms and grazing livestock, Slakia. So right there on the bottom, right. So that's all the end of private farms and grazing livestock. Why would they want to do that? Okay, because again, they are the wicked. Let me get a couple scriptures. But we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. 9. Yeah, don't. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, and where and who is he? So who was doing that? Esau Edom. Esau Edom is the one that covered the faces of the judges thereof. Ever since they came out of that headshot wound. In about the 1300s, they've been telling lies, estranged from the womb. Okay? And also, just to back that up, Proverbs 29:2. This is why the people are mourning. Proverbs Satan. 29:2. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Are the people rejoicing right now? No, they're crying out. Right? They're crying out. They don't have no jobs. The food there's food shortages. You got people bugged out because of this pestilence, right? So people, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Yeah, so the people are mourning right now. Why? Because they're crying out. Our people, the elect are crying out for Yahweh Shem Shai, that we're able to repent for our sins and be saved, through the times that it's about to happen, Jacob's trouble. But meanwhile, these people are crying out. Truly, they are crying out for Yahweh Shem Shai. Why? Because they want someone that's a righteous ruler. Because this devil, he doesn't do nothing good. If he doeth good, he doeth unwillingly. At last, he will declare his wickedness. And this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to implement this. Psalms 2:1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Yeah, why are they slacking? And when you go into this word rage, it goes into a tumult or commotion, to conspire, to plot.
Strong's H7283.
Traps and snares.
Ragash.
Now also goes into their schemes. That goes into Psalm 64:5. Because these are all, they set these all up. These are through these think tanks. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of laying snares. Privily they say, who shall see them? Yeah, the prophets see him. And Yahweh Shem Shai sees him because his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Right? Let me read this in the NLT. They encourage each other to do evil, and they plan how to set their traps in their secret. Who will never notice, they ask. As they plot their crimes, they say, we have devised the perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning. Yeah, so they think, they search out iniquities and accomplish a diligent search. Both their inward thought of everyone them and the heart is deep. Yeah, so they're constantly testing people. That's what Planet Parenthood is all about. Planet Parenthood is to be able to also gene 23, or to find out your genealogy, basically going back. That's all to test and see who's actually here. Those are all laying traps, and to be able to put poison in the air and the foods. That's why you have in the ghettos and the vadios and the reservations, or basically the ghettos and the vadios, right? You have these liquor stores. Who are these liquor stores owned by? They're owned by these heathen nations, right? These dogs that are licking the wounds. And what will they put in there? They'll put liquor. There's nothing wrong with drinking, right? But they'll put things like 211, OE, all malt liquor. Okay, they'll put pork grinds. They'll put pig's feet. They'll put these certain delicacies that are of America, which is an abomination to Yahweh Shem Shai, which is creating diabetes, high blood pressure, all these different types of diseases that this devil has laid on. That's why we need a physician to what? Cut off the lung disease, which is Esau Edom. Psalms 2:1. Psalms 2:1. No. Oh yeah, so I can get that too. It says, this is Proverbs 21:1. The king shall joy in the strength, O Adonai Yahweh, in the salvation. How great? No, that's not it. It's something else I had. Okay, Psalms 2:1. Why do the heathen rage? Yeah, why does he cause commotion and a tumult, right? And the people imagine a vain thing. Yeah, so they imagine how to what? Their plots and plans, their New World Order agenda. The kings of the earth, yeah, so to their United Nations General Assembly, right? Their the NATO and EU that are joined to this beast system, that are able to push forth this agenda. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsels together against Adonai Yahweh and against his anointed, saying. So yeah, and that's Psalms 83, that crafty counsel that has consulted to hide away the hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? The Hebrew Israelites. Okay, they all plotted together how to keep us hidden, because they know that we are the true powder. And these other nations, that's Psalms, Isaiah 40, where it speaks about they're nothing but a bucket of spittle. And to these other nations, they're counted as not worthy, as nothing to Yahweh Shemar Shai. Psalms 2 and 3. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Yeah, so let them let's read this. Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords. Yeah, so there are any connections to Yahweh Shemar Shai. So that's what they constantly do in their community, on laying traps and snares. Psalms 2 and 4. He sitteth in the heavens shall laugh at the Lord Yahweh Shai. Wait, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Yeah, so Yahweh Shemar Shai is going to laugh. The other one, Yahweh Shemar Shai, shall have them in derision. Yeah, so he shall mock and scoff them while they're trying to create these certain wickedness, right? Which is their plots. You know, a famine and a pestilence, that's an evil, wicked thing. You know? So I want to get a couple scriptures as far as on a famine. Let's see. Because Yahweh Shemar Shai said these things would happen. Ezekiel 14 and 13. Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, when will I stretch out my hand upon it, and I will break thy staff for thy bread thereof? I will send a famine upon it, and I will cut off man and beast from it. Yeah, so let me read this in the NLT. Son of man, suppose that the people of a country were to sin against me, and haven't we sinned against Yahweh Shemar Shai? But now we're coming back to Yahweh Shemar Shai, and we're repented and being converted, and we're praying that we're able to escape the trials and tribulations that are about to happen. Were to sin against me, and I will lift up a fist to crush them, and cutting off their food supply, and sending famine to destroy both people and animals. So again, Yahweh Shemar Shai is the one that's in control, not Esau Edom, but he is that whipping stick. He's using the modern day Assyrian to be that whipping stick, right? That's why it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. This is 2nd Ezra 16. Yeah, let me make sure. Second Ezra 16 and 39. And it reads, even so shall not plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon on every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Yeah, so we're going to have to be pilgrims on the earth. So, stacking up your bread, stacking up money, and things like, or stacking up, certain foods and stuff like that is not going to work. You have to trust in Yahweh Shemar Shai, right? And it says that you shall not rely on bread alone. I think that's it's in Matthew. All right, so let me read this again. Even so, 2nd Ezra 16 and 39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon on every side. Yeah, so there's going to be sorrows on every side, as we're already seeing at a low level, but they're going to increase, because this is a year of what? Yahweh Shemar Shai turning up, right, as coined by Apostle Tahar. So let me go into a couple more scriptures. Matthew 26 and 26. So this was in our past, but we know nothing new is under the sun. Okay, and the things that are written for our foretime were written for our learning. So let's get this. Leviticus 26, I want to read it in the NLT. In 26, I will destroy your food supply so that 10 women will need only one oven to bake bread for their families. They will ration your food by weight, and through you have food to eat, you will not be satisfied. Yep, and you're not going to be satisfied. Why? Because there's only going to be one piece of bread for all those types of people, right? And that's going to lead to what? Cannibalism, right? As it's spoken about in I can just get it right here. 2 Kings 6 and 24, I think it is. Okay, behold, season to his said who was told. And the woman said, give the... Okay, I'm just going to get to the point. This is 2 Kings 6. I'll get 27. And he said, if Adonai Yahweh do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of a barn floor or out of a winepress? And the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him, which boil goes back to cooking. And I said unto him, or on the next day, give thy son, and that we may eat him, and ye shall have hid your son. And it shall came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. Yeah, so these people are going to start to turn to what? Eating their own children. Okay, that's how bad the famine can get. This is Lamentations 4 and 9, and this is coming, right? Because nothing new is under the sun. Lamentations 4 and 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be put slain with hunger. For these pine away stricken through for what of fruits of the field. Yeah, so read this in the NLT. Those killed by the sword are better off than those who die of hunger. Starving they waste away for lack of food from the fields. Tender-hearted women have cooked their own children. They have eaten them to survive siege. But now the anger of Yahweh Shemashai is satisfied. His fierce anger has been poured out. He started a fire in Jerusalem that burned the city to the foundations. Okay? So, Yahweh Shemashai, the El Shaddai, a demon-like power. Okay? It is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. Let's just get that. Hebrews, I think that's Hebrews 10 and 30. Yeah, let me get that. Hebrews. That's why you want to kiss thy son unless he be mad. Psalms 2 and 12. Hebrews 10 and 31. It is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Okay, because that's what could happen. You could have to eat your children to be able to survive. Okay, and when you think about a famine, those shows that be on those infomercials about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, where they show the Africans, those Hamites, and they got the flies flying around their head and stuff, and they say send 20 cents. Okay, just imagine that. It's gonna be bad like that. It says a time of trouble like never before. Right, and we get the point. I'm gonna get a couple more scriptures and I'll end it. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe unto the world that dwell therein. Yeah, woe means destruction. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Why are they going to fight up against each other? Because they're going against the government, because they don't have no food, because the Esau Edom is coming down with draconian measures. Right? For there shall be sedition among men, and sedition means a revolt against the government. Right, as you're seeing right now at a low level in these different countries, but it's going to come to Babylon the Great. Among men, in invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, or the course of their actions shall not stand in their power. And they already don't respect Joe Butthead, and they don't respect Trump either. Okay, and whoever they put in office, John Trudeau over there in Canada, they don't respect him. That's why he went to go hide out in a secret place from those truckers, right? 2 Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go in a city and shall not be able. Yeah, why are you not going to be able to? Because you don't have that charagma. You don't have that the smaller thing that they're trying to bring forth either. You're not going to be able to go in these certain cities unless you have that the pass, right? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, so people are going to be afraid. And so these women that are at ease, that don't have a man of the Lord, guess what? They're going to be ravaged. Okay, this is going to be a time of trouble like never before. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread. Sakia. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. Yeah, great tribulation. You see, Slakia. So great, right? Just like this is Babylon the Great. Okay. So let me read that again. 2nd Ezra 15-19. A man shall have no pity. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with thy sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread of great tribulation. That's right. And people in America, because of their delicacies, because of their their wontons, their overindulgence in food, their obesity, they don't think that this can happen here, that there's gonna be a food shortage, right? Habakkuk 1:5. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard a wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which you will not believe, though it be told to you. Yeah, so you will never believe that there's going to be a food shortage in Babylon the Great. But it's going to happen. And it's happening right now. Because even over there in China, they're hoarding the food. Right? And then when you have these fertilizer crises, they're not going to be able to grow the food. That's why you have over there in North Korea, they're saying to use their human fertilizer. Right? Habakkuk 1:5. The Lord Yahweh Shem Rashai, I'm going to read this in the NLT. The Lord Yahweh Shem Rashai replied, look around at the nations, look and be amazed, for I am doing something in your own day, something you wouldn't believe even if someone told you about it. Yeah, so, and people don't believe that that's going to happen. Just like they didn't believe when Noah said it was going to rain, but it did. Okay? But those that believe in Yahweh Shem Rashai, let's get, all their plots are going to go to naught. Let me just get a couple of scriptures. Psalms 33:10. The Lord Yahweh Shem Rashai bringeth counsel of heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people with none effect. Yeah, so their schemes and their plots are not going to be able to work. Just get this Job 5:12, because this is an enterprise that they're cultivating through the Noah's Order Secorum. Job 5:12. This is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach speaking. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Yeah, so Yahweh Shem Rashai is going to frustrate their plans and their schemes. That's why Revelation 12:12, where it speaks about they know that they have but a short time and they're going to be thrusted through. Because he's going to trap the wise in their own cleverness, so their cunning schemes are thwarted, which means they're put headlong forward. They're not able to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, which is basically world domination. Everyone under slavery. But those that trust in Yahweh Shem Rashai shall eat. And I'll end it on that one. Isaiah 65:13. Isaiah 65:13. Therefore thus said Yahweh Shem Rashai, our power, behold, my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. So with that, Barakatha Yahweh Ba'Shem Rashai Ba'Shem Kakadash, Call Allah Yahayim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Rashai, Shalom unto elect, Kwam Yashala.